So most people think they're doing everything right for their blood sugar. No bread, no fruit, no pasta. But their fasting blood glucose continues to slowly rise. If that's you, you're likely missing the most powerful metabolic tool we have. We're diving into the science of why carb phobia is actually stalling your progress and the high carb secret that actually reverses insulin resistance. So let's break this down. I hear this every day. In fact, I just saw a patient with a hemoglobin A1C of 6, and he was proud of his hemoglobin A1C of 6. He was on metformin, and he's been stable on that number for years. Was told that's, the normal range. Basically normal, close to normal. But we know that there was a recent paper that came out, Focus is actually to have a blood sugar below 100. So to have a hemoglobin A1C of 5.1, not 6. And this is important because we know that when you reduce it to that level, that you lower your risk of heart disease, death from heart attack, stroke, heart failure. So this managing blood sugar to keep the low carb, what does it do to your body? So when you avoid, things that release sugar quickly, your requirement for insulin is lower. The problem is that insulin is still floating around because you have insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is when your body is not responding properly to insulin because you actually have fat within your cells, and that is interfering with the key. The insulin is the key that unlocks the door. So when this happens, when you have something that is sugar, for lack of a better word, so a piece of candy or a piece of fruit, your body responds by a rapid rise in glucose. The difference, though, between that piece of candy and that piece of fruit, that piece of candy does not have fiber in it. When you have that piece of fruit, so while it may temporarily elevate your blood sugar, in the long run, it's actually helping reverse that insulin resistance at the cellular level. It's helping lower that fat that's in the cell. It's lowering inflammation. It's providing vital phytonutrients and antioxidants and micronutrients that your body needs to thrive. And ultimately, those are the foods that we need to be focusing on to lower your insulin resistance or to improve your insulin sensitivity. And in the long run, what that's going to do is actually improve how your body responds when it does have fruit in the future. So let's be clear. So what you want to be eating is foods that are high in fiber, and that's the key. When you focus on low carb, you're often focusing on high protein, often animal protein, and these animal foods do not have any fiber in them. Guaranteed your fiber intake. So my patient that I was talking to earlier, he's eating, no pasta, no rice, no fruit, lots of veggies, he said, no grains or bread, and no beans either. No beans because they may spike his blood sugar. So the thing is, when you're missing out on all of those foods, your fiber intake is really low. For men, the goal is 35 grams per day at a minimum, but there's no upper limit. And the thing is, when we focus on increasing the fiber, so when we have high fiber foods, they are magic for your gut health. So I didn't talk about that before, but your microbiome does a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to your metabolism. Your GLP-1 system actually thrives on a healthy microbiome. When you have the fiber that's in those foods, it kind of blunts the insulin response. And in fact, beans have a second meal effect. When you eat beans, they lower your blood sugar for the next meal. So this is really important. So the key here is you want to have high fiber foods. So instead of focusing on what you're avoiding, you need to be focusing on what you're adding, and adding fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds. Ideally, you want to be leaning towards a lower fat diet for many reasons. The saturated fat that's in animal products is going to elevate your cholesterol. It is going to worsen your insulin resistance and cause more problems down the line. Okay, maybe you don't want to eliminate meat, but I'm telling you, make your plants the star of your plate. The foundation of what you consume should be fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds. What I told my patient today was to eat more beans. Eat beans every day, if not with every meal, and focus on that fiber goal. That fiber goal, again, is 25 grams for women, 35 grams for men. If you're looking for more detailed support, I have a Joyful Metabolic Reset. It is my solution to prediabetes. It helps people reverse prediabetes and often are able to get off or avoid medication. If you want to learn more, you can click the link below. I did a webinar today all about this. You can also watch that.